Hi, I'm Kathleen Blassingame, and the speech I chose was spoken by Franklin D. Roosevelt. It was, people like to call it the infamy speech or the attack on Pearl Harbor speech. It was an address to the nation after the attack on Pearl Harbor. It basically brought us into World War II, and he was just saying, hey guys, like, this is what happened, this is what we're dealing with. This is what Japan just did to us. But he specifically was speaking to Congress whenever he gave the speech, but it was broadcast all over the United States and other world leaders watched it. So basically, he spent the entire speech just stating what had happened what had just happened in Hawaii and what Japan had just done to us. And then he used it to help the U.S. come together at the time. He also discussed the relations between Japan and the U.S. right before this had happened and right after, whenever he was giving the speech. It was like a day after. He used all three modes of persuasion throughout the entire speech, but he mainly used logos, in my opinion, because he was trying to keep America informed and tell them just, hey, Japan just did this to us. We were just trying to talk to them, but, we can't really help it. And he also used a lot of repetition throughout the poem. One thing he said was, last night the Japanese forces attacked, ... and then said the place. And he said that 4 times. Then he said a variation of that about that specific day Japan had just attacked somewhere. His speech also, he goes through and tells it like a story. He used a timeline, so it makes you feel like he didn't forget anything, and you can actually trust what he is saying. So here is my memorized 2 minutes of the speech. Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, and members of the Senate and the House of Representatives. Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a day which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation, and at the solicitation of Japan, was still in conversation with its government and its emperor, looking towards the maintenance of peace in the Pacific. Indeed, 1 hour after Japan air squadrons had commenced bombing in the American island of Oahu, the Japanese ambassador to the United States and his colleague delivered to our Secretary of State a formal reply to a recent American message. And while all of this reply stated that it seemed useless to continue the existing diplomatic negotiation, it contained no threat or hint of war or of armed attack. It will be recorded that the distance of Hawaii from Japan makes it obvious the attack was deliberately planned for many days or even weeks ago. Thank you.